Today we're going to be breaking down the brand new Ski Mask the Slump God Catch Me Outside Part 2 music video by Lyrical Lemonade. Open up the timeline here, we have 7 different music video clips from the music video, obviously, and we're going to be breaking down all these effects and covering everything that kind of makes this video cohesive, all the effects inside of it that blend it together and make it a super enjoyable music video. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I love this video. It's super nostalgic. I remember watching the original Catch Me Outside music video on the Lyrical Lemonade channel when it was kind of out and popping and everything, so this is definitely a really cool nostalgia throwback. But before we hop into this, if you guys are new to the channel, my name is Jacob and I run the Tiny Tape shop. We sell editing plugins, presets, and a bunch of other assets that you guys can use to level up your music videos, edits, and a bunch of other things. So if you're interested in any of that, it'll be linked down below. But without further ado, let's hop right into this. So the first effect we're going to be covering from the music video here is the title sequence. Make sure you guys stay to the very end of the video because we're going to be covering some intricate effects and you do not want to miss out. So basically, to do this title effect, you guys can see it right here. It's kind of like this kind of 8-bit, kind of old, like distorted, I would even say video game type of text here. So essentially all you have to do if you're in Premiere Pro is just press T on your keyboard. It's going to bring up this text tool. You guys see right here, we have a regular mesh. You press T, it turns it into this. You're then going to click once on your program monitor right here, and then we could just type ski mask, and then I'm going to press Command A to highlight everything. And then depending on what version of Premiere you're in, you may have to go to graphics templates or text or something to change properties. There it is. So you might have to go to like graphic templates or properties depending on what version you're in to actually play with the text here. But essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this all capitals just like this, and then I'm going to change the font to like Helvetica bold. All right, cool. And now that we have that, we're then going to go inside of effects and we're going to search up something called mosaic. Under stylize, we're going to drag and drop mosaic on this layer right here, and you can see it disappears. Don't worry, it's still kind of there. You want to go over to mosaic now, and for the horizontal blocks, you want to turn them way up. So I'm talking like around like 200 and then 200. You guys can see, boom, you get that effect. If you want to make it less intense, we could do like 300 and then like 300, and you guys could see that's how you get that effect there. Super easy. Just mess around with the amounts here and you'll get different looks depending on what you're looking for. So that's how you guys can do the title effects super easily. Now moving on to the very next one here, we have this kind of like zoom out transition here. You guys could see it's like ski and the girls, and then boom, it zooms out from the crowd here. So essentially what you want to do for this, I'm going to try my best to recreate it. I don't have the actual footage itself, so it's going to be kind of challenging, but I'll cover all of the basics for you guys so you guys will know how to do it yourself. So pretty much what they're doing here is they have like this static shot. So obviously they're just like recording the music video, and then it seems like they kind of pull out. I don't know if that's intentional or if it's like a post pull out. But when they do pull out, either they're zooming out in post of the crowd shot here, or they actually intentionally grab the zoom lens and kind of pulled out from the crowd here. So what you would need to do this is I'm going to take this here. I'm going to put this on top. And I think the best thing we could do for this is I'm just going to kind of take screenshots of them and kind of redo it with screenshots so you guys get like the basics. Let me just zoom in here. And if you're wondering how to take a screenshot in Premiere Pro, go down here, click this button right here. I'm going to click import into projects so we get it inside of here. Just need to put it on an actual path here. Sweet. And then we'll do this one. I'll zoom in a little bit just so we don't get that there. Oh, and then screenshot. Cool. Now that we have both of these inside of here, I'm just going to toss those to the side and we will grab our screenshots. Now, keep in mind with the screenshots, obviously it's not going to be as like good as having the actual video here, but essentially to recreate this effect, what I would do is you want to go and put on a transform layer, especially if you're in Premiere Pro. You could do it a little bit differently with the 3D camera inside of After Effects, but I recommend using the transform layer. So under transform, you want to drag and drop this on your clip and turn the shutter angle all the way up to 360. Turn off this option right here. And then if we like zoom in, set a keyframe, and then zoom out and we go in between. Ooh, yes. Needs to be on an adjustment layer, guys. I thought I could get away with it, but it seems not. I'm going to go ahead and add an adjustment layer here, and then just put that above your clip right here. So now on the adjustment layer, just drag and drop that transform on there. Go over to effect controls, and we'll start off at the very beginning. We're going to keyframe scale. And once again, turn the shutter angle up and then turn this off. This is going to add motion blur. I'll show you guys this in a second here. So we're going to zoom into the crowd just like this. Keep in mind, this is not going to be perfect, but we're going to do our best here. We're going to zoom into the crowd, and then we're going to move a bunch of keyframes over and then reset these. Did not do the position as well. Sweet. Okay, cool. Just like that. And then we get kind of like this transition right here. Right, and you can see like the motion blur if I turn this down. You guys can can see there, it really helps sell the effect. I'm going to drag this over so it's a little bit like quicker of a transition. So kind of like that, right? And then what I could recommend you guys do is if you highlight the keyframes just by like clicking and dragging, we're going to right click, go to temporal interpolation. And for easy ease, it's like opposite. So like you would think you'd want to do easy ease out on the end, but you actually want to do easy ease in. So just kind of think in opposites for this part. And then the front ones, just highlight them, temporal interpolation, easy ease out. So you guys can see we get boom, kind of like a quicker zoom out effect with that. And if we go down, you guys can then see kind of like the curves that we created here doing that. You guys can mess around with them. I'm not a pro when it comes to that at all, but I highly recommend if you guys do know what to do when it comes to like perfecting these, I would go ahead and do that. I just do easy ease because I think it works for what it is. And then what we want to do next is we're going to drag this adjustment layer up. We're then going to take this video of ski here. You're basically going to want to like position and scale it and kind of put it down over here. So if we look at the original clip of the video, it kind of like zooms out with him in there. So a couple tips that you could do to do this is kind of like keyframe a zoom out, right? And then make sure it lines up with, you know, this here in the crowd. You know what I'm saying? So it's like fully zoomed, this here in the crowd, bring the transform layer in. And then my biggest tip is, you could see that's really adding like a lot of the motion blur and stuff, is kind of adding like one of these, especially like when he's in the crowd, and then turning on like the mask feather, and then turn up the mask feather, turn up the mask expansion. You guys can see there, you kind of get his face in the crowd kind of blurred like it was before here. So essentially, I'm not going to like take the time because I don't want this tutorial to be super long, but we're going to keyframe him there. And then, sorry, we'll keyframe him like at the beginning with the mask settings like reset. And then as it goes along, we'll keyframe him out and move him over to the crowd here, and then turn on the transform layer. And then you'll have this effect here. Super simple. That's kind of just like a loose breakdown of it, but let's keep firing through these. Next one, we got this transition here that goes from him tying Chucky's do-rag to then boom, him slow-mo holding Chucky in the air. So for this one here, it's a little bit more intricate. So we have it tying it, and it doesn't seem that crazy, but you can see there's a chair behind Chucky's head right here, right? And then when we zoom forward, the chair kind of disappears out of the way. That's because they used an AI transition. There's a couple websites that you could do this on. I have a full tutorial on it that I'll link down below where I go very in depth on it. Let me just go over on my YouTube channel. I'll show you guys the exact video. This one, seamless AI transition right here. This video will teach you exactly how to do that. But then the thing I wanted to cover next is this ultra mega slow motion. Now there's two ways you can do this, and it's cool they changed the store name to his name. Didn't even notice that. And all of these too. Wow, that's insane. What was I gonna say? There's two ways you can do this. So if you could either shoot the footage in a very high FPS, like extremely high FPS, so like 4K, 120 FPS, I don't even really think would even go this slow. But what I recommend doing for this at least is using something like Time Warp or Twixtor, which are third-party plugins inside of After Effects. So let me show you guys how those work here. So I'm just gonna find a different clip in the video. We'll do this one. This seems like a good clip. And you want to right click and go over to replace with After Effects composition. This effect isn't inside of Premiere Pro yet, but I'm working on something. Kind of keep that super secret and on the down low. But we're going to open this up inside of After Effects now, and then we'll get started. I'll show you guys a free way how to do it and then a paid plugin way. I actually don't even pay for the plugin itself. It has like a watermark on it, but I'll show you how it works just in case you're interested in getting it. And I'm not sponsored either. If I was sponsored, I'd have the paid version for free and they would have hooked me up. So we have our footage inside of here. And the first one that I'm going to show you guys how to do is the one that's built into After Effects called Time Warp. You want to go and just search it up here. It's under time. Drag and drop it on your clip here. And you guys are going to see it's going to kind of like distort the entire video's like time. So what I recommend you do to avoid this is if you just kind of go and like render out your thing first. So I'm just going to go to export, add to render queue. We'll just call this ski. We'll put it in front of YouTube videos, render. And then I'm going to go find that, documents, YouTube videos, ski. And then we're going to drag and drop Time Warp on this now, and you guys can see it doesn't skip to a different part because there's no like videos before and ahead of it. So if we play the original clip here, you guys can see it's pretty fast. And if we play the one with Time Warp, you can see it slow down, right? It automatically adjusts by 50% speed. And this is all like, this footage is like 24 frames per second. So it's really slowing it down. You could even go down to 10%. There might be a little bit like of glitches and stuff. You can see like around his like hand and stuff here. It's really not that perfect, but I think it's great for what it is. And you could really slow your footage down using that. Or you could use something like Twixtor. So let me show you guys how Twixtor works here. I don't even really have to show it to you. It's like the exact same thing. Drag and drop it on here. And then right here, you get your speed. So we'll do like 50% or 10%. And then we'll play it. And it uses a lot more computing power. Like you guys can see, it's gonna take a lot longer to kind of play. Like I hit the play button like 2 seconds ago. And you can see it's a lot cleaner around his like arm and stuff there. And it's like super slow-mo on like regular 24 FPS footage, which is honestly a game changer. So when you're doing like the speed ramps and stuff like that and you really want to slow it down, recommending using Twixtor or Time Warp, definitely the way to go. Now this next clip here is kind of like a montage. So these are a bunch of old pictures of Ski. I don't know if I can get a picture like this clear of his face, but essentially what you want to do for these montages is find like a really clear picture. And then if I show you guys and break it down, you could see like we have like these ripples around the money with kind of like a drop shadow. So if I go like count the frames, I'm just going to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. It seems like every couple of frames at random, it's kind of changing and like adding something in and cutting his face in. So like, let's see like his face, for example. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2. So every 2 frames, it's like adding something in. And it's really rough, kind of like, I don't even know, like a paper montage in a way. So pretty much what you want to do this is just screenshot it, right? Then open up Photoshop here, and then we'll open up that image that I have. And then pretty much what you'd want to do is kind of like grab the pen tool here and just click to cut them out. I'm obviously not taking my time on this. I'm kind of rushing it just for the sake of the tutorial to show you guys how this is done and kind of get through everything really fast. So once you have them cut out with the pen tool, you want to right click, go over to make selection, hit OK. You're going to see it's going to create this like kind of mask around it. Go over and click on the marquee tool here. You're then going to right click and select the inverse. And then you could like delete the background if you wanted to. You could inverse again and delete the foreground. You could select the foreground like we have here, press Command J, and you have like a different version of it. So you guys can see we just have this cutout now. And then like, let's just say with this cutout, we want to like only keep like this side of his face or something to like animate it in. And we want to make it like purple. We can press Command U, go over to hue and change his face to green or something. And you could see every couple of frames we could turn this on, and then we could get like another part of his face or like his money. You could see it's like a different kind of like shade here, it's brighter. And then for like this drop shadow effect they have going over it, I'll do the same thing on the face here. Just double click on it, go over to drop shadow. Obviously that's way too intense. We're going to turn it down, make sure the distance is at 0, the spread is kind of low, and the opacity is low as well. And you get kind of like that drop shadow effect here. Maybe even like turn the size up a bit, just like that. And then if you want the edges to be a little bit rougher, there's a couple settings inside of here that you could do. We can go to distort and then ripple, and then we'll turn the amount. Let's see here, we'll turn it to like 40. And you get like more of those rippled edges that this would have here. And then pretty much what you want to do once you have a bunch of these, like let's say you have this side of his face, this side of the money, his hat, the background, is you kind of want to render them out all individually. There's a couple ways you could do this. If you want to reframe them inside of Premiere Pro and have to like kind of move them and adjust them, and you could bulk render them all at once and have it be really fast, but I hate doing that and having to readjust them. I want to put them in exactly where they are like this. So my method for this is just like going on the first one, hitting Command Option S, and then going down to PNG and just naming it like 1 and then saving it. And then turning off this one, going to the next one, Command Option S, going over to PNG and then saving it, and then just dragging them into Premiere Pro, and then once again animating them like every 2 frames. So that would look something like 1, 2, and then something else happens. You put that on top of the next clip. 1, 2, something else happens. Like you add like the you stack them over time, like the green face on the actual footage, and then bam, something else, and it kind of grows into this like sort of montage here. Super cool. Now for this next one here, they basically just rotoscoped him and then did a similar thing to what we're doing here, but on the side. So the best way you want to do this is inside of After Effects. If you guys don't know how to rotoscope, I have a ton of tutorials on it. It's pretty self-explanatory at this point. You should know how to rotoscope if you're editing music videos. And they're pretty much just panning to the right and having this kind of like montage, kind of like what we just created beside him to the left. And yeah, guys, that is pretty much it for this tutorial. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like. And if you want to see any more breakdowns, let me know in the comments down below. If you guys are interested in grabbing any plugins or presets to speed up your editing process from my store or add some cool new effects to your music videos, I highly recommend going and checking them out over on my website. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.